It's game time. The Kid Gowie. Ravens Nation. All we know is purple and black. And if you're not a Ravens fan, Welcome to Baltimore, Maryland, M&T Bank Stadium, where opponents don't make it out alive unless we bury them. Every team be afraid of them, especially all the quarterbacks, cause our defensive linemen won't hesitate to leave you sacked. Let's take a minute, go back to Super Bowl 35. Domination was an understatement up against the Giants. Numerous touchdowns, they put up numbers, and it didn't take a nutritionist to see they hunger. Only stat Kerry Collins could get was interceptions. He must have thought throwing to the D counted as receptions. The pass was legendary, but don't sleep on the present. Our secondary make quarterbacks avoid their direction. You tryna run the ball, you better hope your blockers work. You can juke, you can spin, but your destination's the turf. This is a man's game, being soft will get you hurt. Watch the defense force a fumble and the fans go berserk. 17 weeks, only one league out of 32 squads. No one's messing with our team. We all bleed black and purple, you can check our IVs. Raven Nation fly high, watch us all spread our wings. Put your game face on, embarrass the competition. You ain't talking about the greatest if the Ravens aren't mentioned. Screw every other team, cause those dudes are whack. In Baltimore, the only thing we know is purple and black. Go! They always win when the championship's on the line, so if you hoping that they failed, then you really wasting your time. Go and ask the 49ers, I'm pretty sure they remember when they made a comeback, but weren't declared the winners. 2 rings down, but you know they won't stop now. If the opposing D's caught slipping, you know exactly how that goes. That's another deep connection for 6 points in the end zone. The stadium goes wacko as Ravens put in work. Pittsburgh Steelers, that still curtain is looking more like a skirt. So tell me who they say is gonna beat them Bengals? Who used to be the Browns until they relocated? Ravens, they are one of the greatest. There's simply no denying it. To beat them, bringing your A game's a requirement. With the youth of the team, I bet they still be dominating, even after the greatest linebacker's retirement. 17 weeks, only one league out of 32 squads. No one's messing with our team. We all bleed black and purple, you can check our IVs. Raven Nation fly high, watch us all spread our wings. Put your game face on, embarrass the competition. You ain't talking about the greatest if the Ravens aren't mentioned. Screw every other team, cause those dudes are whack. In Baltimore, the only thing we know is purple and black. Go!
Yo, how's it going, guys? Thank you for coming to another edition of szg Sports. One of the things I'm gonna do today, right at the get-go, because I feel like every week for the past 3 or 4 weeks, we have people who wanted to call in and have not been able to. So one of the things I'm doing is text me. If you want to be in the show later, text me. We can talk. It's all about Ravens. Our show today is gonna be simple. We're going to do a quick mock draft. I think I put it 3 or 4 rounds. Can't remember right now. We're going to discuss a little bit about the pre-draft Lions luncheon. We got custom 2. OBJ trade. What's going on there? We'll discuss that too. And look, I have in somewhere in this messy dusty. I know you guys don't see the mess. Thank God. I have the pay draft profile. And I can't find that. I don't know if one of my daughters took it. I'm not quite sure what happened to that one. But anyway, let me go round real quick. Bruno, Terrence, Yasich. Hopefully I didn't botch your name. If not, I'm sorry, brother. Shout out to all of you. Thomas Morgan, Andrew Sakara, Terrence, Izana. Shout out to all of you. So yes, if you want to be in the show later today, it's not right now. Just text me so I can start building that queue. I'll call you when the time is. I usually, by the way, for those of you that don't know how this works, you text me, I'll tell you like, hey, you're first, second, third, whatever, you're in the queue. And before I call you, I'll let you know, hey, you're going to be next after this caller, okay? Also, let's do some house cleaning here. You know, I do every Monday at 5 live streams, but draft season is coming up, and tomorrow we'll be in the AFC North talk, 5:45 Eastern. But draft. So Thursday, I'm gonna be somebody's channel. I'm not gonna be here, but the next day, Friday or Saturday, 1 in the morning for me, come join me because you need to give me some energy because I'm gonna be like hangover from the night before. Come join SAE here. Live stream. We're gonna have some guests. We're gonna have Raven might come, Nubo, and other YouTuber from Tony, also from the AFC North Talk Steeler fan. He should be here for a little bit. So come join the live stream. This will be the third, fourth year that I do it. It's fun. A couple of you have been done it in the past. So hey, you know it's fun. Hold on, some of you already. Okay, let's talk about luncheon, the Lions luncheon or whatever it is. I hope we don't have any pessimists in here today. Been watching some of my favorite Ravens contests and stream, and we get some pessimist Ravens fan, and I'm tired of it. Only positive vibe. If you give him a third, I don't know. Wait, I guess I missed something from Izana. So I guess I missed something here. Anyway, let's talk. So the luncheon, we get EDC getting a little salty, right? About the hold on. EDC got salty because the wide receivers got people were complaining about the wide receiver core, or people not necessarily complaining. People are critiquing. Whatever they say, like you need wide receiver help, and you know what we do? We do. I mean, we cannot. We were 32nd in the league in wide receiving, not wide receiving, but in passing. So obviously we need help. And the biggest problem that I have with all the media, the Ravens meeting, everybody, when we see wide receiver help, it's not only wide receiver. We need tight end help. We have Mark Andrews, phenomenal tight end, but after him, Boyle catches a 3 yard, like 3 to 5 yards. That's where he lives. He's not gonna be there really in the passing game. He's there. You pass to him to get the defense honest, and in the red zone, especially, he's really good because he's always blocking. So now people don't account for him. Now he can leak. I get 3 to 5 yards. Boom, dump off, touchdown. Okay, but saying all that, you need another tight end. So when we're talking about upgrading the passing guy, EDC, it's not only a receiver. Now, I said, and if you've been in this show long enough, you know the type of receiver we need. All right, and I was checking. I started checking Nico from Michigan. Nico something. I can't remember it. And I'm watching this dude. I'm watching Miles Boykins for Notre Dame. So for those of you that want to ask me, Nico, I think it's Collins. I felt like I was watching Miles Boykins Notre Dame tape again. Like the dude has some abilities, but yeah, you know what? He can be a Raven, and I think he should be a day 3 pick. And at that point, it is what it is. But he ain't all that. Okay, saying that. Yes, EDC, we do need wide receiver help. You know why? Because right now, let's call Sammy Watkins wide receiver 2, right? I think that's fair. That's fair. Sammy Watkins might play half of the games. Right, and this is not that we say we desperately need, because if we were on the same type of offense, we can get by with the receivers we have. But again, you should have that 50-50 guy, because when you have in that situation, that guy's at an island, you can throw it high and let the guy get it. We don't have that guy. Who's that guy? It ain't Marquise Brown. It's not Boykins. It's not really Andrews. That's not his game. So who is it? Durable, Prochet, none of those guys, right? So that's the type of receivers we need. That is the type of receiver. Thank you, Baltimore Raven and Andrew Sakara Collins. Yes, thank you for that. And shout out to Cam. And thank you, Janice. Yeah, Jasic. Patel. Thank you for that. So I was like, okay, man. I know you're salty. You might be trying to say to other teams, like, hey, we're not really looking for that receiver there, because the reality is, let's say that my 2 favorite receivers that are achievable, Marshall and Bateman number 1 for me, and Marshall number 2, are there at 26, 27. both of them. What do you do? But what EDC trying to say, like, we don't need a receiver. We can trade back. We don't care. We don't care. We don't care. And that's the probability that a team in the early seconds wants to hop in, and EDC says, you know what? I'm bailing. I'm getting more picks. You hear what he was talking about. Draft is a crapshoot, essentially. How you get well, keep picking. You're gonna get somebody decent. That's essentially what he said. So you know what? I will tell you this. There's a couple positions that I'm not liking in this draft so far. Edges and D linemen are not great. They're not great. And my biggest fear is the Ravens go first round and draft an edge. Oh my god, I saw a mock draft somewhere. I think somebody sent me a mock draft having the Ravens picking Rousseau at 27. I almost threw up. I was like, what the hell is this? I've been talking about this guy to be a day 3 pick. Not a day 2, a day 3. Maybe late day 2. First, I mean, I will cry. Wherever I'm streaming, I will cry if that happens. So, the luncheon, the pre-draft meeting, it really didn't mean much. But one of the things that we talked about was Orlando Brown Jr. And they did. I've been talking about we were gonna be trading Orlando Brown Jr. before it became a thing, and I received too much flag for that. And before it became a thing, I said, you know what, Orlando Brown needs to go because I didn't think we were gonna pay him. Easy as that. So the rumor is there's a deal in place somewhere. I wonder, and I had no sources, guys. I had literally no sources. I wonder if that deal is the Chargers. And I wonder that because the Chargers right now can say, well, I might be happy with Slater and definitely with Panay. I don't want to trade up and give up too many picks, but I might have to give up X amount of picks to get Panay, or I can get X amount of picks to get Orlando Brown. And let me explain that. Let's say they're offering the 13th pick and a 4th rounder, whatever, one 4th rounder they have, right? So now they're like, okay, that gives me Panay if Panay is in the 9th pick, 10th pick. So they might be monitoring, and let's say Panay goes on number 5, and they're like, okay, 13, you're still in it for Slater. Slater goes 8th. Okay, now we need to call the Ravens because the 2 linemen that we want, they're gone. We need a left tackle. Again, I love Slater. I'm not sure if he's going to translate as a tackle. I think he's going to be a great O-line. But let's say that they believe he can be a left tackle. So the top 2 tackles are gone. We have a quarterback. We don't want Herbert to have the Joe Burrow effect and be injured, right? So let me call the Ravens. Ravens, here's the 13th pick. Here's the 4th round extra. Boom. And now the Ravens have the 13th. And the 27th. Now, there is a problem with that scenario for me. This is Sonny. Sonny last year, for those of you that have followed me for a while, know who was my favorite player last year. I remember saying in Joe Noah's chance that I will trade my whole draft Ricky Williams style for this one player. You guys remember? Well, if you don't remember, it was Chase Young. Chase Young was that guy. Chase Young was the guy that I said last year, I would trade the whole draft. It was almost impossible. Now, if we currently would have the 13th pick and the 27th pick, why would it have been nice to have that now instead of after the draft is in motion? Because Sonny's dream pick, I'm going to give you what is my dream pick. Very unlikely, unless we had these 2 picks, would have been Kyle Pitts. Now, Kyle Pitts slides to number 7, and you have the 13 and 27. Now, you can trade those 2 if you really love Kyle Pitts as much as I do. Go pick him up, and you make him not a tight end. Not a tight end. You make him an X. You put him outside. You say, you are that guy. You can kick him inside relocation, but outside. I think that is essentially a Megatron type of receiver, right? But that will be the main thing. That would be, but we don't have that. So saying that if we get the 13 and 27, in this draft, it will be interesting where the Ravens go, right? Because would they go right tackle there? Maybe they could do that. Would they go receiver? You can argue that's too early for Bateman and Marshall. Would they go with a guy that I do like a lot? I stumble about his film JOK from Notre Dame. I like him, but is he an Eden? No. Would you go there and take a flyer? And would you trade back, right, and get more picks and then get a guy that I like a lot, the safety out of TCU, Mooring? Probably it opens a lot. It opens a lot. Okay. Uh, Saying that it is frustrating that we still haven't traded Orlando Brown. Let me see some of your comments here. Marshall Bateman, Deami Brown are my favorite, but middle round guy I like is Jonathan Adams. Halari and Jalen Phillips only edge rushers I consider first round unless Pay is there, then he be slam dunk pick. I think he is actually. I think he's a first rounder, late first rounder. I don't think he's all that. He's still raw. All these guys, even Paye or Paye, okay, I don't know how you pronounce his name, but he's also raw. The trip, shout out to you, and shout out to Jonathan, by the way. It's weird. I don't like Bateman nor Marshall as a potential first, so I wouldn't go for them. I take Jalen Phillips if he's there, or trade out to the top 10 for Jamar Chase. Otherwise, take Creed. Yeah, I'm not big on Phillips. I see Phillips is the most polished one of all. Problem with Phillips is injuries, man. It scares me too much to take him in the first round. I also mentioned it as well, Sonny, when I said last year. Let me put this here. They'll keep Stanley, Lamar Humphrey, and one of Orlando Brown or Andrews. People kept saying the Ravens should keep them all. And I mean, in theory, they should. But Orlando Brown right now is very set up and being a left tackle. And it's funny how people forget because I get so many comments like, oh, we should have kept Orlando Brown, traded Stanley. It's like, you remember how Stanley played? Well, yeah, he got injured now, but you couldn't predict that. Yeah, you remember like his battles with Myles Garrett? Dude, that's always been impressive. He came out for an all-pro season. I mean, it's crazy. Maybe we forget quick. We're on a hair team wins are Bears, Chiefs, and Colts. Yes, also KC and the Chargers apparently are answering. Garnett, shout out to you, man. Thank you for joining the live stream. I think you want to... If Ravens trade for a mid-first round pick and they stay there, I think they take Jalen Waddle if he is on the road. I'm not sure Waddle will be that receiver the Ravens need. Again, just my opinion. I think Marshall, Bateman, there's some others. They're more possession, bigger type of receiver are better suited. Thomas Morgan said Creed Humphrey at 27. The trip says it's a weird one for me. I'm talking about Payne. For us, he seems good since we always blitz, so he doesn't need pass rush move, but he can get out that in free agency. Yeah, I think he's raw. He is raw. I think he does better also from the inside, which is oddly enough with his hand in the dirt. I prefer Dickerson. Did you do research on? Yes, I did my research on PA or whatever, and I'm trying to find where's the paper. And I know my daughter was here, and I'm assuming what happened was she took the paper I used. Yeah, this is not it. This is not it. And because I don't write anything computer, I write everything on paper. I don't know where it is. It will come. I apologize for that. Yeah, but I did that. Let's get it. And one thing I will say is he is raw. You can see some talent. He is raw. Also, this is a bad habit, but do you trust any Michigan pass rusher right now? Taco Charleston, the guy that went to Green Bay. Notice this guy. Whatever he was. I'm not very in the Michigan kids. I think Rashad Bateman is more polished wide receiver. I agree with that, Jonathan. Terrence has the physical attributes. They can translate for being a wide receiver, but I think Marshall is the type of wide receiver they need. Okay. I will say this. I think some of you said, yes, Gary. Yes, thank you. Thank you. One of you guys told me that Bateman measures 6 foot, and I was shocked because this dude plays way bigger than that. Way bigger than that. Stanley is technical. OBJ is smaller. They're completely different. I hope we keep both because their yin yang style is great. Yeah, Cam Neill. I wish we could, but we ain't. We ain't. It's a reality. You're not gonna keep them both. Okay, so let's do here a quick mock draft, and then I have 3 people here. They are gonna be calling. Sorry, so I'm producing and doing this thing. Okay, so let's see this here. Boom. Same thing with Elijah Moore. I think these guys, it's not that they're bad receivers. I think we have the type of receiver we need. And I talked about this with Raven. I saw he also talked about it today in his video. Shout out to Raven. Is a type of receiver they will go get the ball, not in a deep route. We had that guy, and Theory Duvernay can do that. And our guy Hollywood Brown, that's his MO. Talking about income bowling type of receiver. I'm not even talking 6'4". Let's talk about a Steve Smith type of receiver, right? A guy they will go get that ball. We don't have that. We don't. Okay, shout out to you, man. Do your workout, do your thing. Thomas Morgan here says, I like Rizzo's upside in the second round a lot. Might be worth trading up from 58 in edge. Guys start coming up to. We'll see. I'm not that in love with Rizzo. Is definitely a boom or bust guy. There's no, it's boom or bust. That's all he is. Okay, I think I did it 3 rounds. 3 rounds. Let's do this thing here. Let's do this thing here. Let me pause it here real quick. Look. So, imagine this. 4 quarterbacks, top 4, right? And that's for Atlanta. And you had, this is shocking, right? But let's say here's Panay. And then Chase goes here, right? If you had 2 first-round picks, now you can talk about Kyle Pitts here for the Ravens. And that would be amazing. If you had Kyle Pitts, that's the type of receiver you need. Again, not as a tight end, as a receiver. I don't think if he falls to 12 and the Ravens don't trade up and get it, I'm gonna be pissed. Okay. Sure, why not? This is unfortunate. Okay, so I traded up because the thing called and said, hey, you want to trade up? So here's a scenario. Some of your favorites, not mine. Jalen Phillips has gone. Bateman, I love Bateman. JOK, I love him. He's not a necessity for the Ravens, but in here right now, and I haven't done it any film review on saving Collins, so I couldn't tell you, but like I'll be okay with Trayvon Moore in here. Definitely okay. But also being more of a necessity here, Marshall's there. In theory, Marshall should be there at 27, to be honest. I'll be shocked if he's not there at 27. The problem is, look, they have paying. All right, neither of them for me are first round. But I'll tell you this: who would you guys pick if you're here? Like if this is the scenario, Bohr falls to this, Ravens trade up 22nd. Who do you get? So Savon, Mooring is my favorite of these players. By the way, let's get it. Jonathan says Savon, Savon. I'm assuming Collins. Any other votes of? Should we go with a Halari? Marshall, wide receiver, pay 100%. Collins, there's 2 votes for Collins. Check trade back option. I'll trade. Trade. I don't know who will trade back with me though. You know what? Maybe. Where's the Dolphins? 36. And a third? Nope. Nah. This is a pass, guys. We have to draft here. Okay. Terrence Marshall. Okay, I'll go with what you guys think. Now, to be honest, what I would have done. Man, Terrence Marshall's still there. You know what? This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to trade up for Terrence Marshall later, but this is what I'm gonna do. Is Pay the second most Pay? Okay, I'm gonna take Pay here again. Not super fan of it, but let's see this here for a moment. Let's see here. I'm gonna monitor the wide receiving. We want to trade that high. No, I'll pass, man. I'll pass and I'll get it here. I'll get him here. So as soon as Tooney went, trade up, give your boy. We'll see how this is going. Obviously, we're doing some trades and to mimic how the sport is going. Now we don't have our centers. That's fine. It's gonna be a minute since we currently pick. I wonder how many people we have if those are the two pick. Pay and Marshall. And our pick should be coming here fairly soon. Come on. Sure, let's trade out because that's the last pick anyway. So let's see who we have here. Quincy Roach. A lot of people like him. Ben Cleveland. Okay, so here let's see. Let's see. Who do we have for tackles? Okay. Let's see who do we have for interior alignment. Oh man. I had not scouted this, guys. Tight end. You know, hold on. Let me see. What do they say about this dude? 6'6". I like him. I like that already. I know you like him, Garnett. I know you like it, but in this scenario already, you know what? Let me see. Okay, I'm gonna go with a tackle. I'm gonna go with. Holy shit, that dude is big. 6'8.5". 6'8". These two dudes are huge. I'm gonna go with a tackle. I haven't scouted him at all, but I'm gonna go with him. Okay, and that's it. That is our draft. Paye Marshall Brown, tackle for Northern Iowa. QB. Man, we're good at QB. So here is the trade. Here's the picks, by the way. I would like to know what you guys think. If this is how the board falls for the Ravens, will you be happy? Will you guys be happy? I agree with you, the trip. So will you guys be happy? Rate these if the next what is it, Sunday comes out and those are your first three picks. how will you feel as Ravens fan? Give me A for great, B for pretty good, C for and D or F, whatever, if you hate it. So now with that, let's remove this, and then we start with the callers. Oh man, how would I do that? That happens to me a lot. Hold on. Sorry about that. Whoever I hang up. I think that's his honor. Hello? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Sorry about that. By the way, guys, can you
It's fine.
can you hear him? Give me a thumbs up if you
I
can
hope
hear
so.
him. Oh, I mean, I can hear you. It will be more, just, technical
All right.
difficulties sometimes happen. So hey, man, shout out to you, man.
How are you doing?
Haven't talked to you in a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's been a minute. I'm happy I'm on now.
Hey,
Really love the program you have here.
appreciate it.
I wanted to talk to you about two things specifically. The first is the whole Rashad Bateman versus Terrence Marshall debate thing. And personally, I like both wide receivers, but I think if Rashad Bateman's there for us at 27 or 28? I think we're 27 this year. I think that's a slam dunk pick unless Kwity Paye's there. I prefer Kwity Paye over Terrence Marshall personally, but I don't think you would agree with that, would you?
Not really. Unless we can get Marshall later in the second. The problem is Paye, for what I saw, great first step, pretty explosive.
Yeah.
Still raw. He doesn't finish. Most of his sacks that I was seeing, again, it came from other people pressuring, and he happened to be there to clean it up. The outside, as an outside rusher, still very raw. Doesn't have a lot of move. In my opinion, he looked, and this is what somewhere had these notes, looked to me that he had better inside moves. Almost, I'm not comparing him to Zarius Smith, but I always said Zarius Smith was better rushing from the inside than from the outside. This guy wishes he can be Zarius Smith. But I don't know. I don't even know if he's the right fit for this defense. But I think Marshall will be.
Man, I was gonna bring that up. For Kwity Paye, I love his Zadarius Smith comp because both of them are like what their weight fluctuates a lot, but I'm pretty sure they usually play around 270. Yet for most teams, that's like strictly a 4-3 edge rusher. But for us, guys that play at 270 could play at outside linebacker a lot of times because we're very creative in how we get pressure. But if we were to get Paye, I would love it if we used Paye in the same way that Green Bay uses Smith, as in they'll have him line up at sometimes they'll have him line up at 3 technique, they'll have him rush it coming off the edge, sometimes they'll have him stunting, and that way that's how we got like 90 pressures in 2019. So if we were to get Kwity Paye, I think the Ravens could use him in the same way that Green Bay does, and he would be a great pick for us. I think he's a bit more twitchy. Zadarius Smith, I think he has better power to his game, but the thing with Kwity Paye is I'm pretty sure the year before I'd like keeping up with mock drafts. As soon as this year's is over, I'd probably go on to 2020. I remember Kwity Paye, he was brought up as like the second edge rusher around a year ago. His critique was that he was very raw, and if he could come in this year and show some development, that would catapult him up to like top 20 pick instead of late first round. But he has a lot of potential. I'd love him for the Ravens just because I really miss what Zadarius Smith could do for us. But yeah, that's my opinion on Kwity Paye.
Before you go with your next one, I would say this. I took Paye in this draft here because I want to make sure you guys are interacting for this mock. If it was me, strictly me, and the Ravens trade up to get Paye, I'm not going to be a happy camper at all.
No, I don't want them to trade.
But even at 27, I'll be indifferent. At 27, they pick him, I'll be like, whatever. Because I know the probability of Paye doing any effect on this team next year is very minimal. Versus Terrace Marshall or Bateman, or even if they decide to go with Kerry Humphrey, the impact of all those guys can be felt probably immediately next year.
Mm-hmm. My thing about that is, as you keep saying, this S class is extremely raw and thin. Not too, like there may be 8 guys you'd be happy with getting in day 2, and that's just in the second and third round. But with Pay, I think he's one of the only 2 people that are worth the first round grade with him and Jalen Phillips. But I don't think he goes in the first round because of concussion injuries. Issues. And with him, I think if we get him in the first, we could grab a second round wide receiver and let's say Diami Brown, Tyler Wallace, maybe even Josh Palmer, some guy from Tennessee. He's T. Martin and him, I'm guessing, would have a good relation since he coached him. But I think if we were to go edge in the first round, then wide receiver is really stacked. And I don't know what we'd do about center, but but that's my whole business with Kwity Paye. Second thing I wanted to talk about was Orlando Brown Jr. And I was wondering if I could get you to do like just a quick mock draft. I'm not going to be watching it, but just like verbally on the PFF where we trade for Orlando Brown and we end up doing a quick mock draft. If that's correct, if that's okay.
So you want in PFF?
Yeah.
So,
just like keep everything basic, and then a 3-rounder, and we could include like a little Orlando Brown Jr. trade in there.
I don't know even how to do that.
I could help you out with that.
Okay, so how'd you trade Orlando Brown?
Okay, so on the PFF simulator,
Uh-huh.
you at the top you got to pick the rounds.
By the way,
all the settings we should keep them at basic, right?
Hold on.
Keep speed all the way up.
Let me.
Okay, tell me when you get there. Sorry.
No. I'm there. I just since people are watching, I want to make sure they see this. Okay. Right.
Over here, what you could do is you could force the trade. So what team do you want to say he goes to? For me, I'll do worst case scenario and say we don't end up getting a first. Instead, we get 2 first-round picks. And one team that I think would do that is the Jacksonville Jaguars. They have 2 second-round picks, their own and the Seattle Seahawks.
Okay.
I think worst case scenario, we end up getting 2 second-round picks for OBJ. And you could force that trade on the PFF mock draft simulator, and we could see what would happen in that world.
Okay, so I can put enter draft. Should I put enter draft?
Yeah, you click start draft, and then first before the mock draft begins, the first team that will pop up is the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Uh-huh.
On the left side is their picks. On the right side is our picks.
Yeah.
And right underneath their picks, it says force trade. So what you would do is you click that button, pick 33 and pick 45, and then right next to start draft, you should see force trade. You could force that trade, and we'd automatically get their 33rd and 45th pick.
I see. So you cannot trade OBJ
So that way,
itself. You just trade. They gave you picks.
Yeah, they gave us picks, but in this world, they got Orlando Brown Jr. Would you say this is fair compensation? I think it's low. At the worst case scenario, EDC should be able to get 2 second-round picks for OBJ. And the thing I like about this is second round, so deep with offensive tackles and wide receivers. Normally, wide receivers that are in the second round in this draft probably are first-round prospects. For example, Diami Brown, a guy like Walker Little, Dylan Radune's a tackle. He's usually a first-round prospect, but since this is a deep offensive line and tackle class, I think we could get them here.
Okay.
But you want to start the trip?
I already started it, and
I'll ask you which prospects are here at 27. I don't know if you want to include the
Greg Newsom, Elijah Moore, Pay is there, Owen, Walker Little, Terrence Marshall.
Could we filter for wide receivers quickly? See if maybe Terrence Marshall or Bateman are there.
Marshall is here. Yep.
Marshall. Okay. Could we check tackles? Tackles and then edge.
Little.
If a guy
Walker.
like Little, Tevin Jenkins, and Samuel Cosme, are they there? 31 and 38. I think that's what they're ranked on PFF.
Yep.
Ooh. In this spot, I think Tevin Jenkins would be a steal. A tackle. He is he's a Raven. I'll leave it at that.
Okay, so I'll draft it. This is your. I'm just gonna go who you said. I got Jenkins.
Yeah. So Kevin Jenkins at tackle.
Yep.
And then is Terrence Marshall still there at pick 33?
Yep.
He's still there. I think Terrence Marshall would be a great pick at 33.
Okay, I did it. Let's go to the next one.
And then pick 45. Could you check center for me? Is Creed Humphrey or Landon Dickerson there?
Dickerson's still there.
Dickerson and Creed Humphreys. I'm pretty sure they're really low on him. I don't know how they have him as the 62nd prospect. Personally, I don't know how you feel about this, but I think Landon Dickerson, sorry, if it wasn't for his injury concerns, I think he's a top 25 pick. If we're taking positional value out because center's not that valuable, I think he's a top 20 player. He's a great center in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. So who would you pick here, 45?
I'm Team Landon Dickerson all the way.
Okay, so let me pick him.
And then pick 58, right?
Yeah, pick 58.
For pick 58, are there any edge prospects? Could you name me the ones you have on your board?
Let me tell you right now.
I'm looking for guys like, let's say, Rashad Weaver, Joe Tryon, Cam Sample.
Yeah, Weaver's there, Sample's there.
Cam Sample, I think he would be a great pick in the third round, but we're not picking to like the hundreds in the third round, so I'm not sure if he'd last. And I think Rashad Weaver, this is a bit rich. I see him as maybe an early third round prospect, early to mid, but I think Rashad Weaver would be a good pick at the end of the second round, just because we don't have a good third round pick.
Okay, so I pick him up.
And then with their and then we have a comp pick. For this pick, I think we should reinforce tight end. Could you tell me who's there? I'm looking for maybe a Hunter Long or a Tommy Tremble if they're available, or even Brevin Jordan. I don't think he'd be here.
Tommy Tremble's there.
Tommy Tremble? Oh, that's a great pick. Could you pick Tommy Tremble?
Sure.
There. I'm not sure if you've scouted these players, but
I haven't.
For example, Kevin Jenkins, top 5 tackle. Terrence Marshall, he's probably, I'd say, probably top 6 or top 7 wide receiver, but he's definitely a first rounder. Landon Dickerson, great. Rashad Weaver, I think it's a bit of a reach, but
PFF likes it for you. PFF likes it. The only thing that PFF didn't like was the Tommy Tremble and the Dickerson pick.
I don't know.
But anyway, you guys on
they
the chat,
really care for positional value.
You guys in the chat, you can evaluate. Let my guy here. What do you think about his pick? What about his draft so far? I mean, it looks super solid. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I like Dickerson. I'm worried about his injury history. I did scout him. I like Marshall a lot. Go ahead.
I think Landon Dickerson, if it wasn't for his injury history, I think he'd be a great pick in the first round. But if we were to get him in the second round, anywhere in the second, I mean, other than like very early second, I think he would be a great pickup, in my opinion.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, and I haven't done anything on Tevin Jenkins, so I'm just gonna take it. Tommy Tremble, I saw a little bit of Tommy Tremble. He looked decent.
He's a good blocker.
Yeah.
Minimum.
And
a decent athlete.
And
Rashad Weaver, he's like a 270 edge rusher out of Pitt. I'm pretty sure Pitt runs 3-4, and I'm pretty sure he played edge, so he'd be an outside linebacker. I'm not sure if he is or if he isn't, but I think he would be able to play outside linebacker for us. But yeah, thanks for having me on. That's about it for today.
Anytime. You know how it is, brother. Take care.
You too. Have a good day.
Bye. Okay, so let me see who was next.
Oh, hello?
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, hello?
Hey, man, how you doing? It's SCE.
Oh, I'm good, man. I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem, bro. How you say your name?
Falu.
Falu. Okay, brother.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm good. I wanted to talk about one thing I completely agree with you on. You said we should draft receiver in the draft and sign pass rusher in free agency since the receiver class is great, but the pass rushers, they're not as much good as the receivers. And I feel like the Ravens should do that exactly. But I don't know why people are saying draft Ed Rusher in the first round and all of that when we could easily trade back and get the same talent as we would wasting on the 27th pick on a Jalen Phillips or Gregory Rousseau or Jason Owe. I just don't feel like they're 27 overall material. I would get a Terrace Marshall, a guy you know who could develop quickly, a safety blanket for Lamar. A lot of times in the playoffs, what you see, you can't have a receiver who Lamar can depend on. Yeah, Hollywood does great, but sometimes they're not that receiver that he could really depend on. I feel like that could be Terrace Marshall.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I mean, there's so many solid edge rushers. They're veterans, and you can draft a maybe third round edge rusher that I can sit and learn from these guys, eventually get a retro year for next year. But I agree with you. Every time I see any first round edge in any mock, I cringe. I'm not gonna lie. I cringe. And I'm not saying for us to that has to be Terrence Marshall. I get more frustrated. Like I said earlier, even if you want to say Creed Humphrey or Landon Dickerson, I'm go with those two before any edge rushers. In the AFC North talk, somebody asked me like, "Sonny, what happens if they don't get Houston? Will you take edge rushers?" Like, no, because none of these edge rushers are ready. None of these edge rushers are ready.
I agree. And one thing that surprised me today in the press conference was Eric DaCosta said he felt insulted that Ravens fans were saying that they have no receivers. How are you insulted by the truth? We literally have our receivers, they're young, but we need that guy who we know for certain is a developer. Like Duvernay, what was he, a third round pick?
Mm-hmm.
We don't know for certain if he's gonna be that guy. I would say get a first rounder. Like Hollywood, when we got him in the first round, we took him very seriously. If we were to get a Terrace Marshall, we will take him very seriously and develop him as a great receiver. And I feel like you shouldn't get insulted by that when it's the truth, and you need to take care of it in the draft, I hope.
Yeah, I mean, when you're 32nd in any position, people are going to have questions, right? People are going to be like,
exactly.
And then you have a quarterback on Lamar, obviously, previous year MVP. That's pretty much carrying your team on offense. So, they're going to have questions. And I will say this, I said this before, the passing game is also Lamar's problem because Lamar sometimes is not as accurate as he should be. But it's also receiver issue.
True.
So it's a catch-22 here. We had different issues in the passing game. It's a collective problem. But one of the things that you can start fixing is putting more talent. And again, I said you need a possession type of receiver, a bigger body-ish guy that will go get the ball. And also you need another tight end because think about this. Lamar loves the tight ends. When Mandrews wasn't there for the 1 or 2 games, who do you have, right? And then because our guy Boyle went out on injury, he had nothing. You put Pat Ricard there, Lions tight end. Pat Ricard can't run any routes. He looked like he was in slow-mo. I love Pat Ricard.
Or even put Miles Boykin in there.
Yeah,
great blocker.
Yeah, put something. But my point is, we need more talent in the pass catching side. And then if you put more pass catching talent with Lamar, there's no excuses.
Yep.
And now Lamar has to elevate a little bit.
All right, man. Thanks for having me on.
Appreciate you. This is your first time calling, right?
I'm sorry?
This is your first time calling, right?
Yeah, this is my first one.
Hey, man. Do it again. Repeat it, man. I'm glad you called. Take care, bro.
All right, thank you.
No problem. Bye-bye. We have 2 more callers here. By the way, one of the things that I'm thinking is for day 2 of the draft, opening phone lines. Okay, opening phone lines and let you guys talk about how the draft is going. Okay. Ooh. Let's see if this line goes out. My guy Bruno, I'm trying to call you for some reason. It's not coming out. Okay, for some reason, Bruno, I cannot get my thing to call you. Devin, shout out to you, man. Thank you for joining. Maybe Bruno is in a bad signal here. I don't know. Bruno, I tried, man. I'm sorry. I'll try to call you later. I'm gonna go with one of our favorites here. You know who he is. He needs no introduction here. Okay. So it's not me, Bruno. Phone lines are working.
Big dog, what's up?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Doing good. How about yourself?
The one and only Garnett, by the way. This is the one and only Garnett.
Hey, man. Hey, hold your applauses, people. On this one.
Slow clap for you.
Hey, I hear. Hey, appreciate.
Are you ready for this draft? You ready for this draft?
What's up, bro?
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready for this draft, man. I'm just gonna be staying in quiet mode and just wait till everything unfold. I'm not sure. I don't know. We'll see, man. I'm not sure how it's gonna play like this. I don't know if a certain somebody gets traded, and I know exactly what direction we're going. It's crazy how I don't know if we talked before about it or. Yeah, we did talk somewhat similar to about the trade with Orlando, but the Villanueva bringing him in, never know what that might mean. Wink, wink. I'm just, so many. If that happens, it literally brings clarity to a lot of things how we're going to view this draft, in my opinion. So I'm just ready. I'm ready, man.
I wonder if you bring. Let's say they sign Villanueva. I wonder if that essentially is telling us that they're probably not going to go high for a tackle in the draft because you have Villanueva, you have Stanley, and in theory, you have Phillips that, for worst takes, he was like a C right tackle. But in theory, now you can say, Villanueva, you're going to be a right tackle, which I don't know how I feel about it, but let's assume that that's their plan. And you have Phillips as the backup swing tackle because if Stanley's not ready, well, Villanueva, obviously he played left tackle, so he can start at left, and Phillips at right, and then Stanley's back up week 4, just as an example. Then you slide him at the left, and then you kick Villanueva to the right. That might be a plan. But if they sign Villanueva, for me, what that tells me is like, tackle's not our priority, even if we traded Orlando Brown.
There's so many ways like how you just explained it, but I just look at as Villanueva, he'd be the insurance policy due to the trade, and then also I would say we'll draft another tackle. We're interior heavy, except for a real actual center.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to the tackle player, I see him say he's at right, and then Phillips, just in case we don't want to go to another tackle, which I highly doubt we would not do that. I think we will get another tackle, but the fact that I'd say just Phillips will be that swing, and then we'll take a chance. I swear, the person that we draft will be ahead of Phillips on the depth chart, just unless he just takes a 180 curve, which I hope. But I don't know, man. All I'm hoping for is, to be honest with you, we do get the trade for Orlando trade does brew and it happens. It does come to light. Somehow we only have to give up a third rounder for a first and something in an actual real package deal, or say if we give up we get a second and say we have something. It's going to be packaged to where it's not going to be a straight up first for Orlando. I don't believe that. Maybe we have to give up a fourth or fifth in order to make that come to light. But
do you remember? Do you remember the Jeremy Tunsil trade?
The Jeremy that Tunsil trade is never gonna happen.
Well, we're not gonna get Jeremy Tunsil that trade, but they got 2 firsts, a second, and a third.
Right.
So
yeah,
for us to think Orlando Brown's gonna be a first and something else, it's not rich. For us to think Orlando Brown might be just a first, should not be rich. The reports are the Orlando Brown deals that they're talking about is a first and something else for Orlando Brown. So I think it's probably going to be more of a first and a fourth.
Yeah, absolutely.
For Orlando Brown, because he's 25. And
the problem, he's gonna have some good years.
Yeah, the big thing with Orlando Brown, what I heard was the composition monetarily that he's seeking. Now, what I think Orlando Brown should do is if he thinks he really is about the life of a left tackle and he's not getting the money that he thinks he deserves, well, this is going to be your last year. Go play with whatever team is, play as a left tackle, be a Pro Bowl left tackle. Next year, you're going to get big money because next year cap should go up. So we'll see. Now, I'll address this also for you. The pay thing that I drafted. I wouldn't touch him in the first. I mean, I picked 27 maybe, but I would prefer. Well, I think I've been pretty clear that I don't like none of these guys at the first round.
Yeah. So I don't mean to cut you off, but when it comes to the edge rusher, I'm not going to reach in the first round one. You're crazy. Unless there's a transcendent kind of like a Chase Young or that type of guy, there's no point in getting one. Like I can literally. Pate and Boogie Basham are literally the same guy, and I can get Boogie Basham at the early third or late second if I really wanted to. So that's out the window right there. That basically that cancels that out. Terrace Marshall, he doesn't. I'm straight up on it. It's a coin toss whether he fits in our system or not. I don't believe so. He doesn't really block that good. A lot of routes that he run are just. I would say they're schemed open, which is right. You're supposed to scheme for your best player on the field. I get that, but he's not like, losing a person because of a good route. He's losing a person due to scheme. So I look at it like this. If we're not going to change who we are philosophy-wise, like just we're trying to go back to 2019, you go get yourself a route runner that can separate. Like, I don't care. Everybody knows I've been, day one, A1 Bateman. I wish we can get him, but I want somebody that could win off route. If we get that literally solidifies everything that we're trying to do or repeat on the offense of 2019, man. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I feel like they're gonna try. They might go back to 2019, but I think they're gonna try to change their offense a little bit this year. And if that doesn't work, then they might just say, okay, let's go back to 2019. Because it works.
Yeah. Go ahead. My bad.
No. That was it. That it works.
Yeah. But that's the thing about it, though. Like, here's the thing. So this is where I somewhat lost trust into the team in a way, because of the fact that last year was a perfect opportunity to try something new. Because due to the fact that we were missing an extra tight end to run that 2019 offense, we never, solve that problem. We never got what we needed, the actual critical piece to do that. We never replaced Hurst, and we went into the season with 4 running backs compared to 2 tight ends. So that screamed, bloody hell all over that, man. And then we chose not to have a left tackle, a backup swing tackle, because we're using the backup swing tackle as a right guard and going back and forth. That just messing up communication across the board. So it's one of those things where we had the perfect opportunity to figure out what we had in Duvernay, to figure out what we had in Prochet. And that's what really bothered me, irks me. So until I see different, I don't know what to expect from our offense, which is, I guess, a good thing due to if I was a defensive-minded person going against them, I don't know what I'm going to get, but I know what they're going to revert back to if it doesn't work like they did this year with the running game. Yeah,
we know what is the default.
Yep.
You're going to see more Devin Duvernay. Harbs loves him, and now there's no really need to block his snaps. For some reason, all they wanted to use him was in the sweeps. And you know what? That's fine. But the problem is if he's more in the field at all times, now the sweep works even more because now you don't know where he's gonna take that sweep. Usually, if I saw
Right.
Devin Duvernay rolling behind Lamar, I knew it was gonna be a sweep
Right.
with him. So I mean, I agree with you, but I do think they're gonna try to change it a little bit, the dynamics in the offense. But yeah, if it doesn't work, they're gonna go 2019. They're just gonna go back in 2019. They're gonna say this is what it is. Now, if they go back to 2019 again, now the problem is Lamar's gonna be becoming more and more that guy, right? And I think that's why they're gonna try to move him more to open the offense a little bit. They're not gonna go crazy, but just a little bit.
Right. Yeah, and that's the one thing I'm hoping, man, because the fact that like literally we're putting excessive miles on Lamar's legs, and I do not like that, man. Like if we're talking about investing in him longevity, and then it's like, well, it doesn't work. Let's just go back to that old school philosophy. It's like a high school philosophy in a way. Like your best player is your quarterback, and you're just hoping for him to break something, to get us, bail us out like usual. And I'm not liking that.
I mean, I agree. I definitely agree.
Yeah.
But there's two things that in this draft we need to address, in my opinion. So wide receiver,
Right.
as a tight end. Pass rush, we are addressing. There's no doubt in my mind that between round 1 and round 7, we'll draft maybe more than one edge rusher. In my opinion, it's not we need to do this like right away because, in my opinion, there's no one that you can plug in right away. Center, if you address center, that's fine. Something tells me they're not gonna address center. Like I have a hunch that they're not gonna get none of these center and they're gonna roll with either Macari or Tristan. So I think right now, and I don't know if you've been scouting the D linemen. The D linemen are not great either. This is like a weird draft. It's a very weird draft.
Yeah. We got everybody up in age with the D line, so we're trying to like find another transcendent kind of like a Matabuke, which is awesome. But at the same time though, with the Washington incident, it's like you really don't know which way we're gonna go with the draft. That's the craziest thing.
Yeah, as I've been scouting, I've been disappointing scouting on the defense because I like to scout defense more than offense. That, like, to be completely honest, and it's been disappointing. The one pick that I would love, and I'm sure Ravens fans will hate, is that safety from TCU, Mooring. I like that kid a lot.
Right.
I like him a lot.
Yeah, I like him. He seems like a real good ball hog, but I feel like with safety wise, I just look for somebody that can just, to be honest with you, I would say a temporary safety. If he pops, we keep him. But next year it's gonna be a safety heavy draft, and I'm hoping for. I'm a Miami fan, so I'm Bubba Bolden. If you don't know who, I'm giving you a heads up. When we get down, I'm gonna shoot you some film, like no shit, legit film of him, and then I swear you're gonna be sold in the first 3 minutes. And so I'm hoping that would be our, if we get everything, all our ducks, lined up and get everything taken care of now we're drafting for luxury instead of necessity. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I mean, safety would be a luxury. Same thing I was saying, I watched the film from JOK from Notre Dame. That kid looks good. But he also would be a luxury pick. And the rate, again, I think we have some holes. Obviously, edge is a huge hole, but usually you're like, oh, we'll fill those holes in draft. Yeah, I don't. This is not the draft for edges. It's just my opinion. This is not that draft.
Yeah, I will explain more how I feel maybe next time on the next show, Monday, hopefully. Or hey, I don't know what you're doing for the draft show, buddy, but do these calls. I'm gonna have to go back to my second job real quick.
That's fine, man. That's fine. Yeah, call him Monday. Oh, you know what?
Absolutely.
Hit me up on DM, maybe, because I know you're working on your podcast. Maybe I can have you in the show, like legit here in on video. Okay.
Hell yeah! All right, brother.
Okay. Take care, man.
All right, man. You too.
Bye. Let's try Bruno one more time. Shout out to Lunch Break Hot Takes. Thank you for joining the live stream. Guys, thank you, everybody. I don't know how the like counting is, but if you haven't hit that like Also, if you're watching the replay, make sure you leave a comment because YouTube is super funny how they're ranking these videos. Bruno, I found you, man.
What's up? What's up? Am I good now?
Yeah, man. You're great. For some
All
reason,
right,
I
all
was
right,
trying
good.
to call you, and it got stuck, and it didn't let that phone. So I assume you didn't have
Oh,
good
it's all
signal.
good. All right, well, let's talk some draft. I don't think I've been able to really talk draft like that with you. We got, 10 days left?
10 days, man. Can wait.
Yeah, same. So just some quick takeaways from the presser today. Really, I feel like they actually acknowledged that Bozeman is a center. If he plays center, I feel like that was the first time they really talked about it. So that kind of just intrigued me about maybe if he's going to move to center, we might be looking for a guard. Plays, I don't know, just a little intriguing. I don't know if it means anything or not. What are your thoughts on that?
I think they're lying to us. They had the opportunity
Yeah.
to move into center for the past 2 years and like a legit shot. We had question mark with Skura where was injured. With Skura got injured mid-year. Instead of putting Makari with no experience, drafted a rookie, they could have said, "Hey, Boseman, I'm trying to put Makari as a guard." So yeah, nah. I think they're not gonna. I said this to him, Ray. I said like, "Yo, I don't think they like Boseman at center." And they're just saying that the Boseman to center maybe just so people are because they know people bring that all the time. I think Boseman will be our left guard, and if there's gonna be a center,
Yeah.
it's gonna be Makari TC or a new guy.
And with the Villanueva news, I feel like, and with that kind of like makes the OBJ trade thing more likely now. It's kind of interesting that how highly we're gonna value drafting a tackle. That's kind of what I imagine. I would imagine if we trade OBJ, we're gonna probably draft a tackle in the first round most likely. But now, is Villanueva an insurance policy, or are we still going to draft a tackle highly if we trade OBJ?
So this is the thing. If we trade Orlando Brown Jr. and at least sign Villanueva, and on top of that, we draft a high tackle, you know what that means? It's over for Phillips. He's done. Because you
That's
cannot bring Villanueva and draft a guy in the top 2 and say, "Oh, Phillips, yeah, you're still part of the plan." No, you essentially at that point you're saying, "Villanueva, you're my backup tackle just in case Stanley cannot play early. You're gonna be my left tackle." And then whoever you drafted, you're gonna say, "Yo, I drafted you because I want 4 years of a cheap right tackle." You had that on Phillips, so obviously you don't believe in Phillips if you're drafting that guy. So that's what it means if you go get Villanueva and draft a tackle.
Yeah. All right. Since you had the combo with the edge and receiver in your mock draft with the Quiddy Pay and Terrence Marshall, Terrence Marshall, I don't really think that was like super likely. I think Pay and Marshall probably will both go in the first round, but what's your ideal edge receiver combo in the first and second round?
So I can see Marshall dropping. I can see receivers dropping. Receiver have been dropping in the past couple of years. And when you have a very deep wide receiving class, you might see people saying like, I can get my receiver later and getting other positions. This is why edges might get overdraft, in my opinion. I mean, whoever's like, if one of these guys that everybody talks to as a first round pick is in the second, sure, whoever. Like Ohalari is fine as a second, especially second where we pick, which is late second. O is fine as a second, I guess, also because all of them are raw, very, very raw. Now, who would I prefer? I prefer Bateman. I said this from the beginning. He is my favorite receiver. I love his hands. Love his hands. And I love how he's vision and route running, right? So I would say if they can pick Bateman and somebody leaks in this like late in the second, sure, yeah, get that guy. But I'll be okay if they go Bateman and then they get Creed Humphrey in the second, and then a tackle in the third because they traded Orlando Brown. I'm fine with that too.
Yeah, for me, I definitely go with Bateman, and I like Ronnie Perkins. Have you scouted him?
No, I haven't.
So yeah, I think Ronnie Perkins would be a nice fit in the second, or Carlos Basham. I think those, and to flip it, I would go with. I know you're not high on the first round edge rushers, but I really like Jalen Phillips. I would go Jalen Phillips, and then maybe like Tylen Wallace in the second.
Yeah, Phillips is definitely the more polished one. My concern with Phillips, like Phillips is the only one that if you tell me, Sonny, which edge rusher you think it could potentially have an impact, Phillips. My problem with Phillips is the injury history scares me a lot.
Yeah.
Look, the reality is, and a lot of you will say, well, we got to invest more money on defense. Yeah, well, because the edge rush class for me is pretty bad in here. So when you see that edge class not being great, I think you should go buy the edge rushes that are out there. And this should be a draft that is essentially heavy offense. You should be drafting like literally. I'll be okay if they had no edge from this class. Like, people will be like, son, I'll be like, well, draft is over. Go get Justin Houston. Go get Kerrigan. But if they go get receiver, tackle, tight end, center with their first four picks, and then they get, and then they might get an edge. I'll be okay. I'll literally be like, okay, that's cool. I'm okay with that because, like I said the other day, they gave us the opportunity of this has been, in my opinion, one of the worst in edge that I scouted. But saying that, more free agency rich out there, right? So you can, in theory, just
Yeah.
plug those free agents out there and say, yo, we're gonna just go and draft not receivers, offense, tackle, center, receiver, tight end. We need another tight end, and see and go with that.
I don't know. I definitely have the feeling that we're gonna come out with an edge in the first 3 rounds. I really think so.
I mean, they probably are. I'm just saying, I'll be okay if you don't.
Yeah. All right. Last question before I leave. What is one player and one position that you absolutely not want us to pick?
Ooh, that's a great question. A position that I definitely don't want.
Or
Guard.
player, or specific player.
I want no guards. We have been drafting
Yeah.
too many guards.
Yeah,
You
for
don't
me, it's center. I don't want a center at 27.
Oh yeah. Well, at 27 center, I think it's a little too high. But
Yeah,
in
exactly.
the whole draft, they should not draft any guards. We had like 1,000. And if not that, you see, because last year I said no, not to draft any running backs. This year I'll be okay because I can be away without Justin Hill. I think guard is the only one because tackle you might need one. I guess quarterback, I don't need a quarterback either. Not even a backup. I think there's a good backup between the two. D lineman we need, edge rush we need, linebacker we can always use that. Even if it is special team, safety we could use ones too. Corner, we could use corners as well. Always can use corners. Tight end we need. Yeah. Guard is the only position I won't take.
What about a specific player?
I know people love him. I'm not in love with Rizzo, man. I know people love and adore him. Maybe in the third.
He's definitely going to be on that.
I think most of them, like literally, guys, you have no idea how much I look forward to seeing, if I can find something about these edge class because I know we need one.
Yeah.
And it's just bad. It's just like a player that I would not like any edge at 27. Anyone. Put a name there and I will say I don't want that. Phillips might be the only one that I'm like, okay. But even him, I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, we got Phillips. Any name at 27 that has edge rush, if we draft any edge, guys, think of me. Say like Sonny is losing his shit. Yeah, because I haven't drafted even Pay that I'm like maybe, but I still like but he's so raw. I want on 27 somebody that I think it can impact this team day one. I don't think none of these guys. Phillips maybe if he stays clean, but the concussion history scares the hell out of me.
Yeah, a player that I want us to stay away from is Zayvon Collins. I'm not high on Zayvon Collins. I don't know why some people are going to the Ravens. I think he's just a bigger Zach Bond, and I didn't want Zach Bond last year, so I don't think he's that outside linebacker that is going to produce for us right now. I don't like Zayvon Collins, so.
Yeah, it's weird because we always talk in the NFL about versatility, and Zach and Zayvon Collins looks like a versatile player.
Mm-hmm.
But they're very rare, those versatile players that are successful. Very rare, right? Even the ones that are amazing in college and they can do everything. They go to the NFL, it's hard for them to find a spot, so they become like a Swiss Army knife. So they're not great at anything. They just, decent. Like look at the guy, and they might be using it wrong, but think about the guy from Clemson that went to the Cardinals last year, Simmons. Right? And like Simmons, there's always examples every year, a player that didn't have a defined position, and then scouts love him because this dude can do this. But because he didn't master any position, he just didn't fail, and he lives in this space that he really cannot do anything great. So it's. I think Collins and Rousseau probably are two guys that are boom or bust, right? Rousseau could be great. Like you can see, especially you look at him like this dude looks the part. I think he needs LBs. But man, I watching his tape, and then somebody told me like Sonny, but I think he has like 50 and a half sacks, something like that's like, and I was like, do you saw those 50 and a half sacks? These 50 and a half sacks were literally people running to him, and he was like, oh wait, you're here, let me just bring you down. It wasn't like he was killing guys and eating the other O-line. Nah, that wasn't him.
He was lunging a lot of the time and just got them by their feet because he's got super long arms.
Yeah. I mean, in theory, he should be a guy that you draft in the maybe late there, fourth round, as is I think where he should be. And you're like, you are a project, and we're gonna basically redshirt you the first year, and hoping the next year you can learn enough and hopefully slowly progress. Because they were like, in year 2, he's not like he's gonna be killing it. It's a progression.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, I appreciate your time. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, man, no problem. Take care, man.
You too.
That was a great call, guys. Remember, I'm gonna try to do this during draft day on the second day. Second day, we're gonna do this. We're gonna open phone lines. If you want to be talking about anything in draft, it will be there. Super Shots will be available. So obviously, that's always good. Anyway, tomorrow 5:45 p.m. Eastern, AFC North Talk should be a fun one. And here every Monday at 5, AFC North, not AFC North Talk. SG Sports. So I appreciate it, very. Please share my content. Please share the videos. I'll see you next time, guys.